Okay, today I'm going to explain to you how to play the game of hearts. So you play the game of hearts with one deck of cards, and it's divided between 4 players, so every single player has 13 cards. After the dealer has dealt the cards, it doesn't really matter who's the dealer, everyone takes a look at their hand, and before the game even starts, everyone picks 3 cards that they don't want, and they pass it to the player to their left. In the next game, they pass it to the player across from them, and in the next game, they pass it to the player to their right, and in the 4th game, they keep it to themselves. But the first game, you pass it to the player to your left, 3 cards are down, pass to the player to my left, the cards that I don't want, and then I look to the player to my right and collect those 3 cards that they don't want. Okay, now the game is ready to start. So the goal of the game is that you don't want to collect points. Points are bad in this game. And every single heart is worth 1 point. So the 2 of hearts, king of hearts, ace of hearts, each of those cards is worth 1 point, and then the queen of spades is worth 13 points, which, if you think about it, is all of the hearts added up together. So the queen of spades is really the worst card because it's worth all of the hearts together. The player who starts is the player who has the 2 of clubs. So if this player had the 2 of clubs, they would start by playing the 2 of clubs down on the table, and that's how the game begins. After that, going clockwise, every single player looks at their hand and they have to do a thing called following suit, which means that if they have a club in their hand, because a club was the first card that was played, they have to also play a club. So in my hand, if I have the 10 of clubs and the 3 of clubs, like I have, and those are my only 2 clubs that I have to choose one of those cards and I have to play it on top. If you don't have the suit that was played from the first card, then you can play any card that you want out of your hand, it doesn't matter. After each player has played 1 card following the suit of the original card, or a different card if they didn't have that suit, then everyone looks at the 4 cards that were played, and whoever has the highest card that matches the original suit, so in this case it would be the highest club that was played, collects that round. So they collect all 4 cards and put them face down in front of them, and then they would begin the next round by playing any card that they want from their hand, and then that new card would be the leading suit. So let's say, for example, I collected that round, and then let's say I played the 9 of diamonds. Then diamonds are the leading suit, and everyone else has to also play diamonds, unless of course they don't have diamonds, in which case, like I said, they can play any card that they want from their hand. So once everyone's done that 13 times, everyone's cards have run out, and everyone has different piles. Maybe you actually didn't even collect any cards, in which case you would have 0 points, but whoever has collected cards then looks at their cards that they've collected, they count how many points that they've gotten, and you write that down and begin a new game, in which case that would be the new game where you pass across. Okay. There's a thing in this game called shooting the moon, which is important to talk about because it's one of my favorite things to try to do, and it's where if you are dealt a certain kind of hand, typically a hand that has a lot of high cards, especially high cards in 1 suit, shooting the moon is where if you collect all the hearts and the queen of spades, you get 0 points even though you collected all the points, and everyone else gets 26 points. So everyone else gets punished because you collected all of the points in the game. Also, just very quickly, in the first round, you can't play hearts. Even if you don't have a matching club to match the 2 of clubs, you can only play a different card that's not a club if you don't have a clubs. And after that, you can't start or lead with hearts unless the hearts have already been broken, which means someone's played hearts because they didn't have another option. So only after someone's played hearts, because they didn't have the original suit, can you start a round with hearts. And that's how you play.